So anyway.
Okay. And as soon as you finish, as soon as we're live, then you're going to let me share my screen.
Yes, I am. We're almost there.
I renamed myself, but it's gone again.
Oh, me
And-
too.
There it is.
We are live, so I'm going back to Zoom now.
Okay,
Marvy, I'm making you the host.
thank you.
Wait,
Wait,
I was making Marilyn the host.
word.
No.
Yeah,
Now I'm making Marvy the host.
okay.
You're now the host, and we are live.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to our slides. And, well, hello. We are back, and so are you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Marvy Hagopian. The Dyslexia Initiative hosts our sessions. The purpose of our meetings is to share ways you can support beginning literacy skills at home using a systematic, scientifically proven approach. Our goal is to help you help your children learn how to become proficient readers. Today, we will be exploring phonological awareness skills. There we go. Ashley Roberts is a co-founder of the Dyslexia Initiative and is with us today. She facilitates our meetings and monitors your comments in the chat box. Ashley, please say hello.
Hello, everybody.
You know we love learning where our participants live, so if you don't mind, please write your general location in the chat box. Then Ashley will acknowledge your locations. Now, while you were typing, let me introduce our panel of educators. Panel members have graciously joined us to share their expertise and insights. Having experts who are well-versed in the science of reading will significantly enhance our experience. So, panel members, when I say your name, please say hello so we can see who you are. Today we have Terry, Michelle,
Hi, everyone.
and Marilyn.
Hello.
Panel members' bios are on the Dyslexia Initiative website. So Ashley, can you tell us from where members of our audience are participating?
I can. This is pretty exciting. We have Malaysia, Scotland, Landenberg, Pennsylvania, Canada, and New Mexico so far.
Wow.
Oh, wow. It really is exciting to know that people from all over the world are listening in and then watching our recorded sessions as well. So we're going to go back to our slides. As soon as I find us. Here we are. Now, in previous sessions, we have focused on two of the three cornerstones. The first cornerstone, letter knowledge, and the third cornerstone, text awareness. We also had two sessions on the importance of vocabulary development and background knowledge. Additionally, we explained how important it is to spend as much time as possible talking, singing, and reading to children from the day they are born. The more words children hear, the more words they learn, and the better prepared they will be when they enter school. All of these activities promote a child's oral language development, which is about learning the meaning of spoken words, phrases, and sentences. If you missed those sessions, please consider visiting the Dyslexia Initiative webpage. Now, our purpose today is to expand upon Cornerstone 2, awareness of the sound structure of language, which is phonological awareness. We are providing information about this topic so you will have a basic understanding of phonological awareness. Children generally gain an awareness of the sound structure of language in a developmental sequence. There are two aspects of language. One component of language is meaning. The other is sound structure. In this session, we will focus on the sound structure of language. We are going to explore the progression of a child's ability to detect spoken words, syllables, onset rhymes, rhyming words, and phonemes. Reading researchers concur that a child's ability to develop phonological awareness is a powerful predictor of early reading success. Phonological awareness involves spoken language only. This means the skills can be performed with eyes covered. Now, this pyramid is a representation of the hierarchy of phonological awareness. It starts at the simplest level. Each level becomes more complex as we move up the pyramid. The first level is about exposure to rhyming and alliteration. This tier addresses what we, parents, caregivers, and preschoolers can do in the early stages of a child's life to support the acquisition of phonological awareness skills. As we move upward from one level to the next, the skills become more complex. Notice to the left of this graphic, we added the words can detect and manipulate spoken sounds. Children need to be able to play with sounds, put them together, take them apart, and move them around to make different words. This concept will become clearer as we work our way through today's presentation. Let's begin our discussion at the bottom of the pyramid with the simplest level. This level is about exposure to rhyming and alliterative stories. A child is not expected to produce rhyming words on her own at this tier. This level is about familiarity. Children are simply enjoying and repeating rhyming words and alliterative phrases from storybooks and nursery rhymes that have been read to them. Remember, children benefit from lots of exposure and repetition. Rhyming words are words that end in the same sounds, such as cat, mat, sat, and hat. Alliteration refers to words in which the beginning consonant sounds in words are repeated in a sequence, such as Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and she saw seashells by the seashore. One way to support the development of phonological awareness is to read books that playfully draw a child's attention to the sounds of our language. Nursery rhymes, Dr. Seuss books, and poetry draw a child's attention to the ending sounds of words. Alliterative stories have many words that begin with the same sound. Books such as Some Smug Slug draw a child's attention to initial sounds. When reading these books to young children, they are listening to the words and developing an appreciation of the sounds in language. Oops, let me go back. There we go. Dr. Sally Shaywitz, co-director of the Yale Center for Dyslexia and Creativity, states in her 2020 edition of Overcoming Dyslexia, most preschoolers love to play games with sounds and with rhyming words, and indeed much of the humor in books geared to this age level exploits the young child's fascination with rhyme. 3- and 4-year-olds derive great glee from hearing and repeating sounds. For example, we have hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. She continues by saying sensitivity to rhyme implies an awareness that words can be broken down into smaller segments of sound and that different words may have a sound in common. It is a very early indicator of getting ready to read. She goes on to say, dyslexic children, on the other hand, have trouble penetrating the sound structure of words and pulling words apart. As a result, they are less sensitive to rhyme. She continues by saying, children's familiarity with nursery rhymes turns out to be a strong predictor of their later success in reading. Regardless of intelligence or family circumstances, children who were the most familiar with nursery rhymes were the top readers 3 years later. Now let's take a look at the next tier on the pyramid. Phonological awareness at the word level is the ability to hear and distinguish individual words in a spoken sentence. For example, children are learning to detect that the sentence, I see a bee, has 4 separate words. They can demonstrate this understanding through a variety of activities, such as clapping each word in a sentence. I see a bee, or tapping their feet. I see a bee. So what exactly does phonological awareness instruction look like at the word level? Well, let's watch our first video and see. So now I'm going to stop my slide share and then go to our first video.
I'm so glad you're here with me today. We've been working on this idea of phonological awareness, defining what it is and why it's so critical in learning to read. Remember, phonological awareness, and specifically phonemic awareness, is one of the single most differentiating factors in determining which students are likely to struggle learning to read and which students may not. So if we can pinpoint which kids are struggling with this key skill, we can provide good instruction, good intervention around that, and help them with their later reading success. So let's talk about the levels of phonological awareness. If you understand the levels of phonological awareness, it helps you better understand not only how to give it, provide instruction, but also how you can differentiate your instruction based on student need. The first level of phonological awareness is the word level. And within the word level, there are several different skills that you can work on. You can work on word blending, word segmenting, counting the amount of words. So let me just kind of show you what that might look like. And I'm really going to hone in on the idea of blending and segmenting. So before I do that, let me define what that is. Blending is when you put something together. Segmenting is when you pull something apart. And we can do that with these sound structures in English. So let's think about how we might blend and segment at the word level. So if I said something like 2 words, sail, boat, and asked you to put those 2 words together to make 1 word, the answer would be what? Sailboat. Let's do that one more time. Toothbrush. Put that together, toothbrush. You were just able to blend 2 words at the word level. So that was phonological blending at the word level. Now let's think about how we might take those apart. So the opposite of that is segmenting. We just blended. Let's think about segmenting, pulling those 2 word parts apart. So in that case, I'm going to give you the whole and you tell me the parts. Okay? So if I said the word is sailboat, what word? Sailboat. Tell me the 2 parts in sailboat. Sail, boat. You just segmented the word sailboat. Let's do one more. The word is toothbrush. What word? Toothbrush. Let's segment the 2 parts in toothbrush. Ready? Toothbrush. So that's segmenting. Again, blending, putting together, segmenting, pulling apart. This is going to become really important understanding once we get to that phoneme level. But remember, that's a developmental continuum. We're starting at the word level, which is what we just went over. So that's the first step. Understanding that first level of phonological awareness. In our next video, we're going to be looking at the next level of phonological awareness, which is syllables. And I'll be talking about the different skills and strategies you can use to build syllable awareness within that phonological awareness umbrella for kids. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, if you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Also, always remember you can subscribe to our channel. We're putting out a new video every week. And you also can get those videos in a series like we're doing right now. Thanks so much for watching.
We really like the all of the different videos that we have this week. So we're going back to our slides. Now we have already established that there is a progression of skills children learn. At the simplest level, children learn to appreciate and repeat rhymes. And they also have fun with alliteration. The second tier is the ability to hear and distinguish words in a sentence. After children can hear and distinguish words in sentences, they can begin to divide words, spoken words, into syllables, which is the next phonological awareness level. Phonological awareness at the syllable level is the ability to detect syllables in spoken words. At this level, children learn to identify syllables in a word. This stage represents a child's first experience with breaking words into parts and putting them back together. The ability to perform skills at this level may be one reason children have difficulty learning to read. Now, there are many fun activities and games available online that children can play while they are learning about syllables. Okay, so now we are going to watch a video in which the presenter explains what a syllable is, and she demonstrates how to segment and count syllables. So let's move to that video. Here she is.
Hello and welcome to Syllables. In this video, you'll learn that words are broken up into sound parts. You already know that we speak in words and words are made up of sounds. We speak using syllables and all words are made up of syllables. But what are syllables? Syllables are the smaller sounds that make up words, and all syllables must have a vowel. Let's take a look at what I mean. Let's try banana broken up into syllable sounds. Ba-na-na. Ba-na-na. How many claps did you hear? Ba-na-na. That was 3. Did you hear it? If you hear the syllable breaks when you read or speak, those are syllable sounds. See how every syllable has a vowel. Another way to understand syllable sounds is to place your hand below your chin and see how many times your jaw touches your hand. Ba, na, na. My hand hit my jaw 3 times, which means that the word is broken up into 3 syllables. Words can have 1, 2, 3, or more syllables. For example, shoe, me, and book all have 1 syllable or 1 sound. Shoe, me, book. Each word has 1 syllable. Shoe, me, book. Words that have 2 syllables are turkey, guitar, and balloon. If you clap twice for each word, that means that there are 2 syllables in the word. Turkey, guitar, balloon. When you read this, you can hear both syllables. Each syllable has a vowel. Words that have 3 syllables are rectangle and telephone. Let's try clapping these. Rectangle, telephone. 3 claps means that there are 3 syllables in each of the words. Rectangle, telephone. Again, each syllable has a vowel. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Did you count the syllables? Did you hear them? Just kidding. Count along as I clap. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There are 14 syllables as you counted. Paying attention to syllables or sound beats can help you read and spell words. How many syllables are in your first name, your last name, or your favorite character's name? I hope you enjoyed playing with words. Keep practicing phonics on our fun games, and until next time, always be clever.
So, syllables. We are going to go back to our slides. Now, recognizing the number of spoken syllables in words is necessary, but it's not sufficient for children to learn to read. So this leads us to the next level. Oops. Let me go backwards here. There we are. Sorry. Phonological awareness at the onsets and rhymes level is the ability to detect, blend, and segment the onsets and rhymes in words. The onset is the first consonant or consonant cluster at the beginning of a syllable. The rhyme, spelled R-I-M-E, is the vowel and consonants that follow it. For example, in the word mat, is the onset and at is the rhyme. In the word block, the consonant blend, O is the onset and ok is the rhyme. Now the next video will help clarify the terms onsets and rhymes. So one more time, I stop to share and move to this video. This is a quick video. from Florida, University of Florida. Oh my goodness, it stopped. Let me play it.
After students know how to break words into syllables, they are ready to recognize even smaller units of sound within a syllable, called onset rhymes. An onset is the initial consonant blend or digraph in a syllable, the b in bat, for example. The rhyme is the vowel and remaining phonemes in that syllable, the at in bat. Recognizing and manipulating onsets and rhymes is considered a precursor skill to phonemic awareness and letter sounds. In this type of lesson, the teacher explains, I'm going to say two parts of a word. Listen carefully. What word do you get when you put these two parts together? Ale, nail. An, fan. Sn, ache, snake. K, R, car.
Let me pause there. And we go back to our slides. There we are. Oh my goodness. Let's see, looks like I need to fix this. I'm going to stop my share and try again. There we are. Well, nothing is cooperating today. Here we go. Accept that. If you just give me a minute, I will, I can fix this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to need to jump down to where we just ended our session so far and get this back in presenter mode. Okay, did you notice how the pictures were used to blend onset and rhymes? Now, it's not necessary to use the pictures, but they really are a great visual. Should you be interested, you could use pictures to create games of your own. Now we have one more video to share with you. This one.
We've been working on a really exciting video series on this idea of phonological awareness, just because we know from the research that it's so critical in teaching kids how to read. So we've defined it, we've given examples of how that might look in a classroom, and then we've started looking at the developmental continuum for phonological awareness. We've talked about the word level of phonological awareness. We talked about particularly looking at blending and segmenting at the word level. What I'd like to do today is really take you to the next two levels of phonological awareness in that continuum. And those two levels are syllable level and the onset rhyme level. So the syllable level is just starting to break down those sound structures to smaller pieces. We started at the word level. Now we're going to look at things at the syllable level. And again, all of this can be done orally. I always say it can be done in the dark. It can be done with your eyes closed. These are things that, it's really more about listening for sounds and identifying sounds and manipulating sounds. It's a precursor in many ways to phonics. So when we think about it at the syllable level, what we're going to do is think about how we can blend and segment at the syllable level. There's lots of different skills at the syllable level, but we're going to really hone in and focus on blending and segmenting. Just to review, blending is putting together, segmenting is taking apart. So if we were doing that at the syllable level, we could say something like table. What's the word? Table. So you just put that together. You blended those two parts together, those two syllables. If I said something like window, what's the word? Window. You were able to blend those syllables together. Then we could do the opposite of that, which is segmenting, where I give you the whole and you give me the parts. So I could say the word is table. What word? Table. Tell me the two parts in table. Table. The word is window. What word? Window. Tell me the two parts in window. Window. That's segmenting, all at the syllable level. If students were becoming proficient at that and we were wanting them to take them to the next level in terms of the continuum, we could then take them to a smaller word part, which would be looking at onset and rhyme. So let's look at that right now. So onset and rhyme is just taking it to a smaller structure. We're not to the phoneme level yet, the individual sounds, but we're getting closer to that with the onset and rhyme. So let me just define for you what onset and what a rhyme is. So an onset are all of the sounds that become before the vowel sound. The rhyme, R-I-M-E, and that is spelled correctly because that's different than rhyming words. The rhyme, R-I-M-E, is the vowel and everything that comes after it. So for example, if I said the word black, the onset would be bull, the rhyme would be ack. So we're getting to those smaller structures of sound. This is a little bit smaller than syllables, smaller structures of sound so that we eventually can get kids to that phoneme level. Let's practice onset and rhyme with blending and segmenting. Remember, blending, putting together, segmenting, pulling apart. And let's do it with that word black. If I gave you the parts, bull, that's the onset, ack, that's the rhyme, and I said blend those two parts together, you would say black. Let's try another one. Stir, eat. What's the word? Street. You were just able to blend at the onset rhyme level. Now let's do the opposite of that, which is segmenting. I'll give you the whole, you tell me the parts. Here we go. The word is black. What word? Black. Tell me the two parts in black. Bull, ack. The word is street. What word? Street. Tell me the two parts in street. Stir, eat. That's segmenting at the onset rhyme level. So we've talked about the word level, which is the biggest structure of language in terms of phonological awareness. We broke it down then to the syllable level, and now we've taken it to the onset rhyme level. In the next video, we're going to really look at things at the phoneme level because we know it's the phoneme level that really builds the foundation for reading. And I'm going to talk to you about different methods and instructional strategies you can use to build phonemic awareness with your kids. Okay, if you found this video helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Also, remember you can subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching.
Okay, back to our slides. We really enjoyed putting today's presentation together for you. Let me what I'm trying to do here is to get, every time I seem to get out of my from my slides, it seems to go away from presentation mode. So let me fix this. There we go. So we did our syllables and onset rhyme activities. See, it disappeared again on me. There we go. Just not wanting to stay there. Okay, now the most complex level, as was just stated, is phoneme awareness. And we're going to cover this topic in our next session, session 9, because there's a lot to cover when we get to the phonemic awareness level. We'll also be working on talking about rhyming words. Well, I can't believe it, but we're already at our wrap up. Let's see. It's not wanting to hold. Okay, that's fine. Today, we talked about the different levels of phonological awareness. Now, we started at the very bottom of that pyramid, if you'll remember, and we were just talking about exposure to rhyming, oral rhyming, and alliteration. We were talking at this level, this is not really a skill. This is young children developing an awareness to rhymes and alliteration. It's about them repeating rhymes that and alliteration that through stories that you've read to them, through nursery rhymes or alliterative stories. Next is this first skill level of our phonological skills, and that's hearing and playing with words. And hearing and playing with words in sentences. The next level, if you remember, was the syllable level. And at that level, we're talking about, my goodness, I'm sorry. We're talking about detecting and manipulating syllables. And then at the next level above, slightly more complex level, we have detecting and manipulating onsets and rhymes. Well, as always, we start the conclusion of our session by recommending that you visit the links that we have listed there for you on the Dyslexia Initiative webpage. That's because there are many more links connected to this particular topic that you can access and learn even more. And just a reminder, you can never talk, read, or sing too much with your children. When you're working on developing phonological awareness, you'll be reading rhymings, nursery rhymes, poetry, and alliterative stories. Whenever possible, play word, syllable, and onset rhyme games with your children. Now, in our next session, as we've already said, session 9, which will be presented February 23rd, 2021, we're going to be taking phonological awareness even further. We're moving up the pyramid. We're going to be talking about rhymes and phoneme awareness. Well, it is time for a chat. This is our special time to get to know together, to get to know each other, make comments, ask questions. Probably it's definitely my favorite time of each session, for every meeting. We really look forward to participating with you, having you ask questions, having us, giving us opportunities to speak with you and to help you in any way you can. So let's end this session. I will stop our share. And Ashley and Terry are going to be monitoring the chat box and checking out and trying to answer and respond to your questions. So please please don't be shy. Ask as many questions as you'd like, because we're here for you now. So what do we have?
Terry, you're muted.
I have one question from Maria Islas, and she would like to know, is there a way we can get access to the first 7 sessions? I just learned about this session. So, Marby, you want to tell them where those sessions are located?
If you have paper and pencil, Well, actually, yeah, if you have a paper and pencil, you can write down, you're just going to search the Dyslexia Initiative. And up on your screen will pop the dyslexiainitiative.org. That's Ashley's website. Now, when you go there, you're going to see that on the menu that you can then access the parent sessions. So you'll go to the parent sessions, and there on that particular page in our website, all of the, not only are our recorded sessions there, they're listed there, but we have also included our slides. And then occasionally we have other goodies for you. We have, of course, we have our links that you can access. But for example, when we were talking about concepts of print, we created a special bookmark that you can print and use as a bookmark. But then when you're reading with your children, it has the list of all the different concepts of print that that you don't have to remember. You can work with your children on helping them point to words and pointing to the cover of the book, the back of the book, and pointing out how you read, how we read from left to right. I mean, there are lots of different tips there on concepts of print, what children need to know in regards to that. Is that helpful?
So far, we don't have any questions from Facebook. To your earlier question about where people were from, though, we had a couple more comments come in. Kansas, California, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, Indianapolis, Texas, and some more Canadians.
Well, I would just like to say that, we worked really hard on today's presentation, and I know they go fast. We purposely try to keep our sessions short because we know all of you are busy, but we were really looking forward to presenting this particular session because really for parents of children who were dyslexic, this is where the rubber hits the road for them. Some children, Marilyn can explain, have difficulty even, and so could Terry, difficulty even appreciating rhyming words and alliterative stories because they're having difficulty hearing those sounds within words and putting them together and breaking them apart. Sometimes rhyming and alliteration for those young children doesn't make sense, and so it's not as interesting. But what's also good to know about that is if you have a child who has difficulty or has difficulty appreciating and enjoying rhyming words and alliterative stories, it might cause you to perk your ears, send up your antennas and start you wondering whether or not you might be needing to do something else with this child to help them start developing these very important phonological skills. What do you think, Marilyn?
I agree totally. I mean, it's better to pay close attention. This, as you say, this is where the rubber meets the road. And if children aren't processing these sounds in spoken words, then phonics is very, very difficult. So as they kept repeating in the presentations, this is the foundation for phonics. And in order to decode, children have to be able to notice these sounds in spoken language. And it can be lots of fun. And they love repetition. They love it. You might get a little tired of it, but they love having this time with you. So again and again and again. And the Dr. Seuss books, as Marvie mentioned, those are great. I think every ending word in every sentence in Dr. Seuss rhymes. So it's a wonderful, fun way to be exposed to rhyming words.
So we have a question from Tracy.
Mhm.
Where is the most important place to start with a 6-year-old who doesn't understand rhyming words and also doesn't understand the sounds of each letters? Do you start with learning the letter sounds? Marilyn?
And you start just exactly as was described in the videos. You start, I would just start playfully reading and repeating rhyming the stories and poetry, just having fun. Then I would go to the next level and clap and tap sounds in spoken sentences and see how he does with that. And then move up to syllables and blend and take apart syllables and words, clapping, tapping, counting, and so on. Then go up, take the syllable apart. Okay, we know that the first part, or the part of the syllable that precedes the ending part is called the onset, and the ending part begins with a vowel. So blend and take apart those. It sounds to me like really you have to begin at the beginning,
Mhm.
as the series is called. And if he does well with each, as he does well with each level, then you move up to the next one. But noticing individual sounds and spoken words is the hardest. That's the most difficult. That's at the top. So I would make sure that he has those foundational skills first.
She also mentions that his oral ability is very high. His verbal vocabulary is very high. And she says it's really surprising. He guesses and watches for social cues.
Well, this is
So
very
his-
common.
Mhm.
This is what
Yes.
is so deceptive. Very often, my own grandson, very verbal, wonderful vocabulary, but has other issues in taking part and blending words and so on. So I would really recommend that you get this book.
Yes.
And there are all kinds of ideas in there. It's very positive. And there is an assessment in the book for young children with, to see like a preliminary assessment of where they are with their phonological awareness. So that might be a way to begin, is to use that book and then go back over the presentation that Marvy did today. I think there was a lot there and it merits rewatching.
Now, what is important to understand is that this idea of phonological awareness is a processing issue in your brain. To put it simply, there are some neuron connections that the brain has not naturally developed. But what's good to know and encouraging to know is that these skills of word recognition, recognizing syllables, onset rhyme, rhyming, phoneme awareness are all teachable skills. They're teachable skills.
Mhm.
You have to do it in a very specific way. That's why we've got the pyramid, right? The pyramid is there to help you understand that we move from one level to the next. We take the child from one level very systematically, and we're playing at all of these different levels. At that word level, you can play with words and sentences and mix them up to make silly sentences. There are a lot of different things you can do. At the syllable level, the same thing. You can put two syllables together, right? You have two syllables and you can change one of the syllables to make a different word. So you're playing and clapping. Same with onset and rhyme.
And I also think that for children who are not phonologically aware. Repetition is your friend. They have to hear these things over and over and over again, you know, and there are a lot of, he's 6 years old. So Dr. Seuss, I mean, there are so many great books at different levels of Dr. Seuss, you know, and they're fun. I've never met a child who hasn't enjoyed the silliness and the repetition of Dr. Seuss books, and being able to tune in to the alliterative aspect of language. I know with my children, when we'd go to the grocery store, it wasn't that we were just reading alliterative stories. We'd go through the grocery store and pick out things that began with, in the produce department, that began with T. So we'd go pick up some tomatoes and turnips and then go down to the bread aisle and talk about toast. I mean, there's all kinds of little things you can do every single day to tune the children's, so they can perceive the sounds, because it is a perception. They have to be able to hear but perceive those sounds. And as Marvy is saying, making those connections, those in the brain. But and you say he's very verbal, well, there are different parts of the brain that control different things. So that part of his brain is working really well, very sophisticated, analytical, and he's, you know, but the part that controls phonological aspect of language is not. So you have to work with that as well, but it's not easy, you know. It's repetition over and over again.
And we're talking about parents reading aloud to children and playing with them, all on the oral level.
I was going to,
Spoken word level. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to add one thing. Sometimes children will memorize, right, you know, bat, cat, hat, and they keep thinking of those same words. And hearing the difference, it can also be nonsense. It doesn't, just as long as they're hearing those, hearing the difference, and it doesn't always have to be a word that we read. That might be going on a little further to when they're making up their own. I think I jumped ahead when they can create their own. Right now it's just listening and the phonological awareness. So I did jump ahead with that. That'll be a next session remark.
Well, and if I could add, this is Ashley, you know, what Tracy's describing is really what my child was. You know, he was 7, he was extremely verbal. So it was so surprising to find out near the end of 1st grade that he did not actually know the alphabet, that he couldn't actually tell you all of the sounds of the alphabet. And if I could throw in there, you know, it's what Marvy reviewed in one of our prior sessions of the different version of the alphabet song than what the kids normally sing would have, I think, kind of shown his breakdown versus what the normal song was. And I don't know if you can hear this, but I can even like give an example to people. So I'm going to turn this up. Here we go.
Now I know what it is. Next time I'll do things with me. Of course, that was when he was 3, but you know.
Well, many children think LMNOP.
Yeah, so yeah.
Right.
You know, if you don't,
It's just one sound.
if you don't point to the letters as you're singing the song, and
Right.
you don't specifically do L like in the previous session was
Yeah.
discussed, that's right there. There you go. There's a very good example.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was in the bathtub with that, by the way. I snuck
Wow.
outside the room and recorded him.
Wow. But your point is really an important one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really important.
You know, once I learned this information that I didn't have when my children were little, but then I got a second go around, right, with my grandchildren. When I was with them, I would sing the alphabet song 6 times in a row. From the time they were like born, I'd rock them to sleep and sing the alphabet song, and I'd sing nursery rhymes. And every time I did it, I was repeating each song a minimum of 6 times for each setting. So I would sing the alphabet song 6 times, and then I'd go on and I'd sing Baba Black Sheep 6 times, because for the very reason that Marilyn always says, repetition is very important.
Our friend.
Right.
Yeah,
And an
repetition
extremely
is our
verbal
friend.
child can usually rhyme. So when you're playing rhyming games in the car, you know, cat, bat, hat, sat, they can usually play along with that because they can kind of pick up on the rhythm of things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, you know, that was not a weakness that my son had. He could rhyme. He couldn't tell you all the sounds of the letters of the alphabet, but he could rhyme.
Well, reading is a complex skill. It's very
Definitely.
complicated.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And the foundational skills are crucial. And the thing is, there are several. It's not just one.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, we have to be honest. Children can learn to read, but it's complicated. It's for most children. Some kids, it's easy, but most children have to be taught.
Mhm.
So
Do we have any other questions?
Nothing from Facebook.
Nothing from
And
Facebook.
there aren't any more nothing more from Tracy.
Okay. So next session, session 9, we continue with phonological awareness. We get into the more difficult skills of producing rhyming words and the very complicated multi-leveled phoneme awareness. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate that you took time out of your day to be with us. And we look forward to spending February 23rd with you. Same time, same place.
thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.